carry on with our cabinet build. It is super duper cold outside, so let's see, I had to get the propane tank hooked up to the propane heater. I had to put the table saw back together, and I've set my dado blade up. So I've set the dado blade up to start dadoing in both the bottom and the back. I drew that out on the last video, so you'll be able to see how that is. Okay, now we got all those done. What we need to do is we need to make what we call our stretchers. So our stretchers are the pieces that are going to hold the two apart. So when our bottom goes in, we're going to need a stretcher in the front for the toe kick. We're going to need a stretcher at the back that goes up here. We're going to need one at the top to hold it apart and one at the front to hold it apart. We're also going to need a stretcher in between everywhere that we want there to be a drawer or a door or something like this. Being as I'm going to make all of mine with a short drawer on the top, I'm going to leave the cabinets open on the bottom. Part of the reason is once again, shop is small, so everything has to have more than one purpose. I'm going to store inside the cabinet on the bottom my drill press, my bandsaw, my sander, things like this, so I can get it in out of the way. I don't want it to clutter up my little shop. I want my little shop to be able to stay the way it is. The other thing I'm going to do is I've got an idea for a compressor. For those of you that followed along with some of my videos while we were still at the acreage, I have a large, high volume, high pressure compressor, which obviously isn't going to work in this small space. So I'm going to look to see if I can't get myself a smaller compressor, one that they make some quiet. I think they're around 40 to 60 decibels. Maybe they call them ultra quiet, something like that. Once again, small space. I want it to be able to work. But I'm going to have a compressor inside of one of these cabinets too. And I'm going to do it down on the far side. And there what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the side of the cabinet out so that I can slide a filter in there, a furnace filter. Just to help to keep my compressed air and stuff like this that much cleaner, if you will. So next thing, not to get squirreled, but I do that quite often, stretchers. So stretcher at the back is going to come all the way up far enough so that we can fasten it to the wall here. Stretcher on the top, a stretcher on both sides. The one at the back, I'm going to miter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do kind of the same thing here. I'm going to use the dado blade, and I'm going to actually miter the two of them together. The reason being is I want these to be strong. I wish I could say I didn't, but I have a tendency to abuse my workbenches. So I want to make sure that they're built strong. I want to make sure that they stay square. So the reason I'm going to miter the one at the back is when the cabinet, the top goes onto the cabinet, I want it to be super strong. So I'm going to nail it in from the back so it'll just help pull it up. So I'm going to miter all of the stretchers that go in the back. So the back stretcher will come up and as well across the top so I can hatch it to the bench or attach it to the bench. And then the same thing in the front so that I can attach the bench top to it. Cut enough pieces here for 5 cabinets. Therefore, we need 5 stretchers. Got a bit of cold. So these are the boards that we cut apart from the rest of it. They're not to the right size. However, if I dado both sides, I can then rip it to the width I need, cut it to the length I need, and then this will make my stretchers. I should be left with a piece inside here as well that I can use for one of the other stretchers. I have set my dado blade up. So this is what we're going to do, and for all intents and purposes, it's going to sit just like this, and that way we can screw it in to the top, and this will go on the bottom. This is the piece that I used for my other test pieces, but I like to do a test piece first, just to make sure that everything fits. This fits almost perfect. Those are done, we can cut them to length and then we can rip them to the width that we need. So some of these cabinets are going to be 24 inches and some of them are going to be 30. The reason being is this is just the way my shop works out. Did I mention dust collection? Definitely got to work on one of those. So what I need to do now is I need to figure out how many I need at 24 and how many I need at 30. Okay, so doing some rough calculations, what I came up with is I'm going to need 2 cabinets at 24 inches. I'm going to need 5 cabinets at 30 inches, and I'm going to need 1 at 36. The 1 at 36 is going to be for my radial arm saw. It's going to be a little bit lower, and it's going to be set down so that everything matches the same bench height. But so 5, 2, and 1. So we'll cut our pieces to match now. So the bases are going to be a little bit longer because we mitered those out. The stretchers are actually going to be for a 30-inch finished cabinet. We have to subtract our width of the material as well. So 3/4 on each end means we're going to subtract 1.5 inches from it. All right, let's cut those to length. We'll take our dado blade out of here now, and then we can get going on everything else. Okay, so now we have to cut our bottoms. So we got a 30-inch cabinet and a 24-inch cabinet. So now we have to allow for the miter. Now let me just move this out of the way. So that you can see. So our pieces now have got to fit down inside these miters. Now, it's not going to go all the way to the back because our 1/4-inch plywood is going to come all the way down. This is done for 2 reasons. One, it makes, or it allows you to get more of these pieces out of a sheet of plywood. So these are 24 inches. If you made them 24 inches out of a sheet of plywood, even though it's 96 inches long, you lose the width of your saw each time. So by allowing the 1/4-inch to come down here, it's the cheaper plywood. It takes it all up. It makes our bottoms just a little bit shorter, actually 1/2 inch shorter in each case. And that way, you can get them all out of a sheet of plywood. So the easy way to do would be, we have our spreaders or our stringers. They are 22 inches, so we're going to need them 23 inches, 1/2 inch on each side because these are a 1/4 inch deep, and 29 inches. Once again, 1/4 inch on each side. So 29 inches. We have just the difference, which should give us a 30-inch finished cabinet. So we can cut these bottom ones here now. 23 by 23 and 29 by 23. We can cut those now. There we have it at 23. Now, I need 2 at 23 inches. And I need 5 at 29. Which is the best way to do that? $29. $29. We're now at the point where we're going to put our pocket holes, or we're going to join our spreaders in there. And of course, the way I'm going to do that is with a pocket hole. Oh, I should mention, this morning it is cold up here. So let me see if I can show you this. Come around here, see if you guys can see this. Minus 39.7, minus 50 with the wind chill. It is cold up here. And you know what? maybe we should pop out around the corner and I can show you how the hive heater's doing. Let's do that. Let's go out and see. It's definitely frosty. I don't know if you can see, minus 6.1. They're not calling for heat. They're set at 7 degrees, plus or minus 1 degree. So that should work out pretty good. These hive heaters by the Bug Farm are amazing. It's too cold. Let's get back inside. So how I'm going to do that, as it's just right after Christmas, we're going to open this baby up and we're going to see how that works. All right, so what I'm going to do is I have a lot of these pieces. These are the ones that go at the back. It's miters are in there. So I don't want the pocket holes up here. I want them kind of stationed in between those ones. So if I line that up, so we're flush on this edge and we're flush on this edge. I should have made sure, because this is the first official pocket hole we're doing. I should be able to drill those 2 holes. Let's turn the vacuum on. Two really nice pocket holes. Got to do the same on the other side now. All right, so I've got all the holes drilled. One thing I can say, for repeatable, clean holes, this thing works absolutely awesome. And now moving on, that we got all the holes drilled, we've got all our bases done. The only thing that I haven't got right now is the 1/4-inch plywood for the back. But I should be able to put it all together, because the way I built these, they should all be able to go in, with the exception of these pieces. After I get the 1/4-inch plywood in, these will be one of the last pieces to go into there. Let's see if we can find some room in my small, messy shop to start assembling some of these cupboards. Might have to do some cleanup first. It is assembly day, which is a good thing, because it is getting cluttered in here. So we have all of our pieces cut for our sides, our stringers, our spreaders, our bottoms. The only thing we don't have cut is the 1/4-inch plywood for the back. And to be quite honest with you, I got to get some of these put together so I have room in here to actually cut that plywood. All the pocket holes are drilled. I've got my clamps, I've got my glue, I've got my brad nailer. We're not going to be putting a bunch of brad nails in. Most of it is going to be screwed together and then and glued. But let's get going. All right, so we're going to be building a 24-inch cabinet to go right here in the corner, followed by a 30 right beside it, and then a 36, which will put our radial arm saw, our goodbye, right here. So we're going to start with the 24, and we'll just build it as we come down. So we need a left and a right carcass skin, and normally I build these on a nice flat bench. Being as we're building the bench, we're gonna have to build them on the floor. So we'll start by laying one down. Grabbing one of our bottoms. And you see there's a good side. So we're gonna get that ready to go. We're just going to test fit it all to make sure that my measurements were correct. And then we will start gluing it all together. Here we go. Now we can easily clamp it all together and ensure that it's going to be where it needs to be. Now we can stand it up and make sure, turn this around so you can see. We can make sure that the front edges are all lined up. Now we can go ahead and put our back piece in. This is the one that we, where is it? This is the one that we mitered. So it should fit right in the back, right level with the top. And this one, we'll be able to clamp and screw in place. And I'm using lots of glue because, well, I don't want to be using a bunch of nails and getting my cabinet all full of pinholes if it's not needed. Set that there, and we'll grab another clamp. All right, and we want to make sure our 1/4 inch gap for our plywood is open and free. That way our plywood will slide down in afterwards. That's looking pretty good. So I'll be using 1¼ inch nails. This is what Craig says is the right size for this. So let's see how this works. That one went well. Just as advertised. Rip off any excess glue. Now we can put the front stringer in here as well. 2 4-inchers for the bottom. This one here will go at the back. Make sure I use my pieces in the right place. Bottom, and then our drawers. Now, with our pocket holes, you don't want them, if you can help it, on the bottom. You want them on the top so they're driving down, not driving out of the plywood. So these front ones are going to be like this, but you're not going to see them as soon as we put the bench top on top of it. Like we said, this piece is going to go right up at the back, and it's going to go right in. So that we can put in after. It'll get brad nailed at the back, and then pocket screws. So this is one case where pocket screws, I actually put them the wrong way. They should go down, but I mitered it. Not the end of the world in this one, because it is going to be nailed all the way along the bottom or along the back. Let's do the toe kick. Turn it right over. Now these are both 4-inch. Once again, the holes at the back are going to come in, not the end of the world, because we're not going to see it at the back. And then at the front, they're going to come in as well, and I'll put a face across the front when we're done. You can see the glue squeeze out as these pocket screws go in. Now that one did something that they say we have to watch. I thought I had it clamp tight enough, but it moved a little bit. So I'll put that one in last. That's just about got one carcass done. We just have the piece for the drawer. So all of these are going to have a shallow drawer on the top, and then full open cabinet on the bottom. This will be the piece that will go in for the drawer. I'm just not going to screw it in quite yet. It'll hold it there. Just because I'm not sure the exact size of the drawer dimensions yet. I have a couple ideas for that. And that one will fit at the back. Okay, that's one. I think that's going to be a nice height. They're nice and level on the floor. Now we need a 30-inch. It's the exact same way we do the 30-inch. I'm excited. There we got 4 carcasses done. Night 1. Off to work tomorrow morning, but when we come back, we'll figure out the height of our drawers. We'll get those put in there, and then I guess it's the countertop. These are all just going to have doors on them. I don't think I'm going to put a slide. Maybe I'll put a slide to get my tools out. We'll see. But anyways, coming along quite nice. See you tomorrow.